The bridal shower was at the winery, my sister Holly's winery, technically. The family business that had been passed down through Mom's side, now run by Holly and her husband, Grant. I'd been invited, despite everything. Despite years of being the sister who moved away, who chose a different life, who didn't stay to work in the family business. The invitation had been formal, cream cardstock, elegant script. Bridal shower for Melissa Hartley, daughter of Holly Hartley. Sunday, 2 p.m., Sunset Ridge Winery. Holly's daughter, my niece, getting married at 23, just like Holly had. I'd driven 3 hours to attend. Bought an expensive gift, a full set of artisan cookware. Worn my best dress, a cream-colored silk that had cost me $400. It was beautiful, elegant, the kind of thing you wore to important family events. The winery looked stunning. String lights over the patio, white tablecloths, flowers everywhere. About 30 women gathered, sipping wine from the family vineyard and eating catered appetizers. Everything perfect, as Holly always insisted things be. Mom was there, holding court at the center table. 75 years old, still elegant, still commanding attention, still preferring Holly over me even after all these years. "Amanda," she said when I arrived. Not warm, just acknowledgement. No hug, no real smile. "Hi, Mom. You made it. Holly wasn't sure you'd come." I wouldn't miss Melissa's shower. Of course. Well, sit anywhere. Anywhere meant not at the center tables. Not near Mom, not where Holly's friends gathered. I found a seat at the edge, near some of Melissa's friends, young women I didn't know. Holly's friends occupied the center tables near Mom. The shower was typical. Games, gifts, laughter. I participated politely, smiled, drank water instead of wine because I had to drive home. Holly kept circling, playing hostess. She barely acknowledged me beyond a wave when I arrived, too busy managing the event, making sure everything was perfect, being the daughter Mom preferred. The winery was Holly's identity. She'd married young, stayed local, taken over operations when our grandfather retired. Built it into something successful, wine tastings, event venue, local reputation. I'd gone to college, moved to the city, became a corporate attorney, made good money but wasn't part of the family legacy. Mom never forgave me for leaving. Holly never forgave me for making a different choice that somehow reflected badly on hers. The gift opening was traditional. Melissa oohed and ahed appropriately. My gift, expensive kitchen equipment, was well received but not particularly remarked upon. After gifts, the catering staff began clearing tables. Women mingled, refilling wine glasses and taking photos. I was standing near the gift table when Holly approached. "Amanda, good to see you." Her smile was tight. "Holly, beautiful event." "We try. The winery's been doing well, booked solid for weddings all summer." "That's wonderful." "Yes, though it's been challenging managing everything. Mom's not involved anymore, obviously her arthritis. So it's all on me and Grant." "I'm sure you're doing great." She held her wine glass, red wine from the vineyard. "You know, Mom was asking about you." "Was she?" "Wondering when you'll settle down, get married, give her grandchildren." "Oh wait, she has grandchildren, mine." "Holly, I'm just saying, you left for your big career. Mom stayed here. I stayed here. We built this." She gestured around. "While you were in the city doing whatever lawyers do. I support myself. I'm successful, just differently." "Sure, differently. While I'm here 7 days a week managing the business that feeds this family." Several women had stopped talking. They were listening. "Holly, maybe we shouldn't." "Shouldn't what?" "Acknowledge that you abandoned the family, that you were too good for the winery, that Mom had to watch you reject everything she built." "I didn't reject anything. I chose a different career. You chose to leave." Holly's voice was rising, the wine in her glass sloshing slightly. Mom was watching from her table, not intervening. "Holly, let's not do this at Melissa's shower." "Why not?" "She barely knows you. You're the aunt who visits once a year and sends expensive gifts to make up for never being here. I'm here now. Because you were invited, not because you care." "That's not fair." Holly stepped closer, her wine glass tilted. "I thought it was accidental at first, the glass tipping forward, the red wine spilling out. But then I saw her eyes, the deliberate loosening of her grip, the intentional angle. The wine splashed across my dress, the cream silk, down the front, across my chest. soaking into the expensive fabric. Red wine, permanent stains, instantly ruined. I stood there, wine dripping down my dress, the cold liquid seeping through to my skin. Holly looked at me. Oops, my bad. Then she giggled. Actually giggled. The women around us started laughing, awkward at first, then more confidently, following Holly's lead. Mom was watching, just watching, not standing up, not saying anything, not defending me. Holly, one of her friends started. It was an accident, Holly said, still giggling. I'm so clumsy. Amanda, I'm so sorry. But she wasn't sorry. Her eyes were bright with satisfaction. My dress, I said quietly, it's just wine. It'll wash out. Probably. More giggling. This is silk. This is ruined. Well, maybe don't wear such expensive clothes to a winery. Wine happens, she shrugged, smiling at her friends. They laughed harder. Mom finally spoke. Holly, get your sister a towel. Not apologize. Not that was inappropriate. Just get a towel. Sure, Mom. Holly walked away, still smiling. I looked down at my dress, the red wine spreading, staining, destroying $400 of silk. Melissa came over. Aunt Amanda, I'm so sorry. Mom didn't mean. It's fine. Let me help. It's fine. I should go. I walked to my car, wine-stained, humiliated. Holly's laughter following me. Nobody stopped me. Nobody apologized properly. Nobody acknowledged that Holly had deliberately ruined my dress at her daughter's bridal shower while her mother watched. I drove home in my wine-soaked dress, 3 hours with the windows down, the smell of red wine filling my car. At home, I tried to clean the dress. Ran cold water over it, applied stain remover, soaked it. Nothing worked. The silk was ruined. The wine had set. $400 destroyed because Holly wanted to make a point about my life choices. I hung the ruined dress in my closet. Evidence. A reminder of what my family thought of me. Then I checked my mail. The envelope was there, from Whitmore and Associates, the law firm handling estate transfers. Thick manila envelope, official letterhead, requiring a signature. I'd been expecting it. Had actually forgotten about it with the shower happening that weekend. Mom was transferring the winery property to Holly. Making it official. Making Holly the sole owner instead of keeping it in the family trust, where it had been for 40 years. But there was a complication, one Mom and Holly had probably forgotten about. Grandfather's will had specified that any transfer of the winery property required the unanimous consent of all direct descendants. That meant Mom's signature as current trustee, Holly's signature as recipient, and mine. I'd inherited the same legal rights as Holly under grandfather's will. Equal rights, equal share, equal say. I'd never exercised them, never interfered with Holly's management, never challenged her decisions or asked for profit distributions. But I had to consent to the transfer. Without my signature, nothing could proceed. I opened the packet, property transfer documents, quitclaim deed, trust dissolution papers. Multiple pages requiring my notarized signature to release my inheritance rights and allow Mom to transfer full ownership to Holly. There was a cover letter from Mom's attorney. Ms. Brennan, please review and sign the enclosed documents at your earliest convenience. Mrs. Hartwell wishes to complete this transfer by month's end to coincide with the winery's 45th anniversary. Your prompt attention is appreciated. Prompt attention. They needed my signature. Without it, the transfer couldn't happen. Holly couldn't become sole owner. The property would remain in a trust, jointly owned by all of us under grandfather's will. I looked at my wine-stained dress hanging in the closet. I called the attorney's office Monday morning. Whitmore and Associates. This is Amanda Brennan. I'm calling about the winery property transfer documents. Yes, Ms. Brennan. We sent those last week. Have you had a chance to review them? I have. Wonderful. Can you come in to sign, or would you prefer we arrange a notary to come to you? Neither. I'm declining to sign. Silence. I'm sorry, declining? I'm not consenting to the transfer. I'm exercising my rights under my grandfather's will to maintain my ownership interest in the property. Ms. Brennan, I'm not sure you understand. This is just a formality. Your mother and sister have already agreed, and I'm declining, which means the transfer can't proceed without unanimous consent, which I'm withholding. May I ask why? That's between me and my family. Ms. Brennan, This will complicate the estate planning significantly. That's unfortunate. My decision is final. Your mother and sister will be very disappointed. They'll be informed by your office, I assume. Good day. I hung up. Within an hour, Holly called. I didn't answer. She called 5 more times. Then Mom called. I answered. Amanda, what is this nonsense about not signing the papers? It's not nonsense. It's my legal right. Your legal right? The winery is Holly's. She's run it for 20 years, and she can continue running it. But I'm not signing over my ownership interest. Why would you do this? Because Sunday, Holly threw wine on my $400 dress, giggled, and you sat there watching. Then her friends laughed, and nobody apologized. That's what this is about, a dress. That's what it's about, respect, which I didn't receive. Holly said it was an accident. Holly deliberately poured wine on me while making a speech about how I abandoned the family. That wasn't an accident. That was calculated humiliation. You're being dramatic. I'm being clear. I won't sign documents for people who treat me like trash. Amanda, this is the family business. You can't hold it hostage over hurt feelings. I'm not holding it hostage. I'm exercising my legal rights. If Holly wants sole ownership, she can buy out my share. Buy you out? With what money? That sounds like a Holly problem. She owns a successful winery. Surely she can arrange financing. You know wineries operate on thin margins. We can't afford to buy you out. Then I remain a co-owner, as grandfather intended, as his will specifies. This is cruel. Cruel is watching your daughter pour wine on your other daughter and doing nothing. Cruel is allowing your granddaughter's bridal shower to become a humiliation event. Cruel is valuing one daughter over the other for 20 years. I don't. You do. You always have. Holly stayed. I left. That makes her the good daughter and me the bad one. Even when the good daughter throws wine on me, you sit there silent. Holly was upset. Holly was vindictive. There's a difference. Mom hung up. Holly called from her husband's phone. I answered. Amanda, this is insane. You can't block this transfer. I can. I am. Over a stupid dress? Over deliberate disrespect. It was an accident. It was punishment for not being you, for making different choices, for leaving. You're going to destroy the winery over this? I'm not destroying anything. You can keep running it. I just won't be signing away my inheritance rights to someone who pours wine on me. That's blackmail. That's consequence. You want me to happily sign over my share of the family business after you've humiliated me? No. What do you want? Money? Is that what this is? I want nothing from you. Then sign the papers. No. I'm keeping my ownership share. As grandfather intended, he wanted all his grandchildren to have equal rights to the property. I'm exercising mine. You don't even care about the winery. Neither do you, apparently, or you'd have treated me better. She hung up. The attorney called. Ms. Brennan, perhaps we can schedule a mediation. No mediation. My decision is final. Your mother is quite distressed. My mother watched her daughter assault me with wine and said nothing. She'll survive some distress. This will tie up the estate indefinitely. Then it's tied up. Grandfather made unanimous consent a requirement for a reason. Perhaps he knew families like ours needed checks and balances. This seems quite vindictive. This seems quite legal. Are we done? He sighed. If you change your mind, I won't. 3 weeks later, Mom called from Holly's phone. Amanda, please, we need to resolve this. There's nothing to resolve. I'm exercising my rights. Holly wants to apologize. Holly wanted to humiliate me. She succeeded. Apologies don't undo that. She was wrong. I was wrong. Please. You were wrong, and you did nothing. You sat there and watched your daughter pour wine on me while her friends laughed. You chose her. Again. I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough. 20 years of choosing Holly over me. 20 years of making me feel like I was wrong for choosing differently. And the one time I show up, I get wine poured on me for my trouble. What can we do? Nothing. The winery stays in the trust. Holly can keep running it, but she doesn't get sole ownership. She gets to share it with the sister she humiliated for the rest of her life. Amanda. I have to go, Mom. I have a winery to co-own. I hung up. The winery remained in the trust. Holly continued managing it, but with the knowledge that I owned an equal share. That every decision, every profit, every success was partially mine. I never visited again. Never attended another event. Never signed those papers. Holly got to run the family business, but she had to share it with the sister whose dress she ruined. And every time she poured wine at a tasting, I hope she remembered the wine she poured on me. The one that cost her sole ownership of everything she worked for. Oops. My bad. Now nobody's laughing. The pain had started Friday morning. Sharp, localized, getting worse. By afternoon, I couldn't stand up straight. By evening, I was in the emergency room. Appendicitis, the doctor said. It's inflamed. We need to operate tonight. It could rupture. How serious? Very. If it ruptures, you could die from sepsis. We need to go now. I called my sister Diane first. No answer. Left a voicemail. I'm at Memorial Hospital. Emergency appendectomy. They're taking me to surgery soon. Can you come? Called my brother Marcus. No answer. Same voicemail. Called Dad, he answered. Dad, I'm at the hospital. Appendicitis. They're doing emergency surgery. Tonight? Right now. They say it could rupture. Oh, well, Diane's having her party tonight. The yacht thing. We're all getting ready. I'm having surgery, Dad. Right. Well, you'll be fine. Diane spent months planning this party. I'll call you tomorrow. He hung up. The nurse came to prep me. Any family coming? No. They have a party. She looked at me with sympathy. You'll be okay. We'll take good care of you. I went into surgery alone, woke up alone, spent Friday night alone in a hospital room, nauseated from anesthesia, incision burning, pressing the morphine button every 10 minutes. Saturday morning, the nurses checked on me, changed my IV, and brought terrible food I couldn't eat. No visitors. Saturday afternoon, I slept. Woke up disoriented. Pressed the call button when the pain got bad. Watched daytime television with the sound off. No visitors. Saturday evening, a different nurse asked, anyone coming to see you? My family's busy. I'm sorry, you're doing great though. Recovery looks good. I dozed through Saturday night. Woke Sunday to more pain medication, more terrible food, more daytime television. Still no visitors. My phone sat on the side table, charging. I hadn't looked at it. Hadn't had the energy. The hospital had called my emergency contacts after surgery. Someone had been notified. Nobody came. Sunday afternoon, feeling slightly more human, I reached for my phone. 73 missed calls. 42 text messages. I scrolled through, confused. Most of the calls were from Saturday, yesterday. All from family, Dad, Diane, Marcus, Diane's husband, Marcus's wife. Over and over. But none on Friday night when I was in surgery. The texts were similar. Call me. Need to talk. This is urgent. Where are you? Then I saw Dad's message, sent Saturday afternoon. Where are the monthly payments? The trust distribution didn't come through. Call immediately. Not, how's your recovery? Not, are you okay after surgery? Where are the monthly payments? I opened Instagram, something I rarely did, but Diane posted everything there. Her feed was full of photos from Friday night, the yacht party. 30 people on a rented yacht in the harbor. Champagne, catered food, dancing, everyone dressed in white. Posted at 8 p.m. Friday, while I was in surgery. More photos at 9 p.m. while I was in recovery. More at 10 p.m. while I was pressing the morphine button alone. Everyone was there. Dad, Marcus, Diane's husband, Marcus's wife, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends. The caption, celebrating life and family. Best night ever. While I was having emergency surgery, I put the phone down, stared at the hospital ceiling. 40 years old, unmarried, no kids. I built a career in finance, made good money, invested well. When Grandma died and left me as trustee of the family trust, I'd taken it seriously. Grandma's estate had been substantial, $2 million. The trust was supposed to provide for the family, support them, help them thrive. I'd structured monthly distributions. Dad got $3,000. Diane got $4,000. Marcus got $3,500. Various cousins got smaller amounts. $10,500 distributed monthly from trust income and principal drawdown. $126,000 annually. For 10 years. $1,260,000. Given to family who couldn't visit me during emergency surgery because they were at a yacht party. A yacht party that probably cost $15,000, paid for by trust money I distributed. I picked up my phone and called the trust attorney, Lawrence Mitchell. Victoria, how are you? I'm in the hospital. Emergency surgery Friday night. I need you to do something. Of course. What do you need? I need you to restructure the trust. Immediately. What kind of restructuring? Stop all monthly distributions. All of them. Effective immediately. Victoria, that's a significant change. The beneficiaries depend on those funds. The beneficiaries didn't visit me in the hospital. They went to a yacht party while I was in surgery. They called 73 times asking about money. Not once asking about my health. I see. Can you stop the distributions? As trustee, you have discretion, but you should document the reasons. Create a paper trail. The reason is that I almost died alone on Friday while they partied. That's documented on Instagram. That would qualify as changed circumstances affecting your ability to serve as trustee. If you're questioning whether beneficiaries have the family's best interest at heart, you can suspend distributions pending review. Do it. Stop everything. Today. It's Sunday. Tomorrow then. First thing. No more monthly payments. This will cause significant disruption. Good. They can experience some disruption while I'm disrupted by, surgery. I'll draft the paperwork Monday morning. You'll need to sign. I'll sign from my hospital bed. After Lawrence hung up, I called the hospital social worker and explained that I needed notary services. She arranged for someone to come Monday morning. Then I typed a response to Dad's text. Check the trust fund. That was all. Just those 4 words. I turned off my phone and went back to sleep. Monday morning, I signed the paperwork. Lawrence had emailed everything. Trust amendment, distribution suspension, change of trustee powers. I signed it all with a hospital pen while a nurse watched my blood pressure. Everything okay? She asked. Getting better. Lawrence filed everything Monday afternoon and sent notification letters to all beneficiaries. The trust distributions scheduled for the first of the month wouldn't happen. I turned my phone back on Monday evening. 116 missed calls. 87 text messages. I ignored them all. Tuesday morning, Diane showed up. Actually showed up. In my hospital room. 4 days after my surgery. Victoria. Diane. What did you do? Had emergency surgery. You might have seen that on your calendar. Oh wait, you were busy. I mean the trust. Lawrence sent a letter. Distribution suspended? That's correct. Why? Why do you think? You can't just stop the payments. We depend on that money. You depended on me Friday night. I was having emergency surgery. You threw a yacht party. That was planned months ago, and I was having my appendix removed because it was about to rupture and kill me. Funny how emergencies work. We didn't know it was that serious. Dad knew. I called him. He said you'd spent months planning the party, so he couldn't miss it. He didn't tell me you called. Why would he? You were busy celebrating life and family. I saw the Instagram caption. Very touching. Don't be dramatic. I'm in a hospital bed with an incision in my abdomen. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being factual. So you're punishing us? I'm protecting the trust. Grandma left it for family who cared about each other. You proved Friday night that you don't care about me. So I'm restructuring. You can't do this. I'm the trustee. I can absolutely do this. What about my mortgage? My car payment? What about them? I can't afford them without the trust. Then you probably shouldn't have rented a yacht for $15,000. How do you know what it cost? I'm a finance professional, Diane. I know what things cost. And I know you used last month's distribution to throw a party while I almost died. You didn't almost die. My appendix was ready to rupture. The surgeon said I could have died from sepsis. And you were drinking champagne on a boat. She started crying. This isn't fair. You're right, it's not fair. It wasn't fair that I lay in this hospital alone, that I woke up from surgery alone, that I spent 3 days here without a single visitor, that the only calls I got were about money. We were going to visit. When? After you finished spending the money I gave you. After you posted all your Instagram photos? Victoria, please, leave. But, leave. I'm recovering from surgery. I'm tired. And I'm done. She left, still crying. Dad came Tuesday afternoon. Victoria. Dad, we need to talk about the trust. No, we need to talk about Friday night. That was a misunderstanding. What was the misunderstanding? I called you from the emergency room. Told you I was having surgery. You said Diane's party was more important. I didn't say that. You said she'd spent months planning it. That you'd call me tomorrow. Then you went to the party. I thought you'd be fine. What if I hadn't been? What if something had gone wrong? What if I died in surgery? Don't be morbid. I'm being realistic. Emergency surgery is serious. People die. You chose a party over your daughter's life. That's not fair. It's completely fair. And now you're here because the money stopped, not because you care how I'm recovering. Of course I care. Your first message was about payments, not about my health. Payments. The trust supports the whole family. The trust supported a family that cared about each other, that showed up for each other, that visited each other in the hospital. You failed every requirement. So you're taking it all away. I'm suspending distributions until I determine whether the beneficiaries deserve them. You can't judge us. I'm the trustee. That's literally my job. Your grandmother would be ashamed. My grandmother would be ashamed that her son chose a yacht party over his daughter's emergency surgery. She'd be ashamed that her family couldn't be bothered to visit the hospital. She'd be ashamed that you all cared more about money than me. He left. Marcus came Tuesday evening. Vic, this is crazy. What's crazy is that you're the third family member to visit, and you're only here because the money stopped. That's not true. Marcus, you have 73 missed calls on your record. All of them about the trust. None of them asking how I'm doing. I was worried. About money. You were worried about money. About you. Then why didn't you visit Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday? He couldn't answer. I was at the party. I know. I saw the photos. You looked like you were having fun. I didn't know you were that sick. Yes, you did. Dad knew. He told everyone. You all chose the party anyway. What do you want from us? Nothing. That's the point. I don't want anything. Not visits out of obligation. Not apologies because the money stopped. Nothing. So the trust is just over? The automatic distributions are over. If you need money, you can apply for it. Document the need. Explain why you can't fund it yourself. I'll review it. That's humiliating. So is lying in a hospital alone while your family parties. He left too. I was discharged Wednesday, took a taxi home, walked carefully up to my apartment, slept in my own bed. The calls and texts continued, begging, pleading, threatening. I blocked most of them. Lawrence called Thursday. The beneficiaries are hiring an attorney. They want to challenge your trustee authority. Let them. Document that they didn't visit during emergency surgery, that I called them beforehand, that they chose a party, that their first contact was about money. They're claiming emotional distress. So am I. Mine's better documented. I have hospital records proving I was alone. This could get ugly. It's already ugly. I almost died alone because they were on a yacht. 2 weeks later, their attorney sent a letter requesting mediation, claimed I was acting vindictively. I sent back Diane's Instagram posts, timestamped, showing the yacht party happening during my surgery. Their attorney didn't push further. The monthly distributions stayed suspended. I restructured the trust, set up an application process, required documentation, established oversight. If they wanted money, they had to ask, justify, explain. The way they should have asked how I was doing. The way they should have justified missing my surgery. The way they should have explained choosing a party over their family. 6 months later, I was fully recovered. The scar had faded. The pain was gone. The trust was still frozen. Diane applied for funds. I denied it. Marcus applied. I approved a small amount for his daughter's school. Dad applied. I denied it. They learned what I'd learned in the hospital room. That family means showing up. That love means more than Instagram posts. That celebrations ring hollow when they cost someone everything. The yacht party photos are still online. 30 people in white, drinking champagne, celebrating life and family. While I lay in a hospital bed alone, recovering from surgery that could have killed me. They thought I'd never know, or never care, or never have the power to do anything about it. They were wrong about all three. And now, when they check the trust fund like I told them to, they find exactly what they gave me Friday night. Nothing. The video interview was scheduled for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, a director-level position at my company, a promotion I've been working toward for 3 years, a salary increase of $30,000, remote work flexibility, team leadership role, management of 12 people. I prepared for weeks, updated my portfolio, rehearsed answers, practiced with a career coach, set up my home office perfectly, professional background with my diplomas and awards visible, good lighting from 3 angles, camera at eye level. I tested the technology multiple times. Tuesday morning, I did a final check. Everything was perfect. Laptop charged, backup laptop ready. Backup internet hotspot prepared in case Wi-Fi failed. Professional blazer laid out with 3 backup options. Notes organized in clear folders. Water glass positioned perfectly. Breath mints ready. At 1:30, I changed into the blazer, touched up my makeup, and did one more tech check. Logged in early to make sure everything worked. Did a test recording. Perfect. At 1:45, my doorbell rang. I checked the video doorbell. My sister, Jennifer, with her 7-year-old son, Mason, both sweaty, looking annoyed. I opened the door. Jennifer? What are you doing here? We were in the neighborhood. Thought we'd visit. I have a really important interview in 15 minutes. I can't visit right now. We'll be quiet. Mason just needs somewhere to hang out for a bit. My car's overheating. Need to let it cool down. Can you wait at the coffee shop down the street? I really can't have anyone here during this interview. It's hot outside. Mason needs to be inside. She pushed past me, Mason following, both immediately turning up the air conditioning. Jennifer, seriously. This interview is critical. I've been preparing for weeks. We'll stay in the living room. You won't even know we're here. My home office opens to the living room. You'll be visible on camera, so close the door. The door is glass. You'll still be visible and audible. She waved her hand dismissively. It's fine. We'll be quiet. Mason, sit on the couch and play on your tablet. Jennifer. Emma, relax. It's just an interview. They won't care if your family is home. It's a director-level position. I need to appear professional. You are professional. Having family home doesn't change that. Stop being so uptight. I checked the time. 1:50. 10 minutes. Please, just go to the coffee shop. I'll give you money, my treat. Just please give me an hour. Mason's already settled. We're staying. Just do your interview. We'll be quiet. I went into my office and closed the glass door. Through it, I could see Jennifer on her phone and Mason on the couch with his tablet. At 1:55, I logged into the video call, checked my background. Jennifer visible in the distance. I angled the camera. Better, but not great. At 2 p.m., the panel joined. 3 executives. The VP of operations, the head of human resources, and my potential new boss. Hello, Emma. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for the opportunity. We've reviewed your work. Very impressive. We wanted to discuss your vision for the department. I started my prepared answer. 30 seconds in, I heard Mason. Mom, I'm bored. I kept talking, raising my voice slightly to cover the background noise. As you can see in my portfolio. Mom, my tablet died. I paused. I apologize. My nephew is visiting unexpectedly. No problem, the VP said. Family happens. I continued. As I was saying, the portfolio demonstrates a crash, loud. It turned. Mason had knocked over my floor lamp. It lay across the floor, the bulb shattered. Mason, Jennifer's voice. Be careful. I'm bored. There's nothing to do. Just sit still for a few minutes. I turned back to the camera. I'm so sorry. Could you excuse me for just one moment? I muted myself and opened the glass door. Jennifer, you need to leave, now. We can't. The car. Take an Uber. Walk. I don't care. This interview is too important. He's just a kid. They'll understand. They understand unprofessionalism. Please leave. You're being ridiculous. It's fine. Mason had wandered to my office door, started touching my bookshelf, pulling books out. Mason, stop. Don't touch those. I'm bored. Then entertain yourself quietly. I can't. There's nothing to do. I looked at Jennifer. Can you please take him outside, even just to the parking lot, for 30 minutes? It's hot outside. He needs to stay inside where it's cool. He needs entertainment, she added, as if that explained everything. As if his boredom was my responsibility to solve during a critical career interview. I'm in the middle of a job interview. She shrugged, actually shrugged. So, we'll stay out of your way. Just ignore us. Mason had now opened my filing cabinet and was pulling out folders, papers scattering across the floor. Mason, stop. I grabbed the folders from him. I'm bored. I don't care. Stop touching things. He started crying, loud, theatrical crying. I looked at the camera. The executives were watching this chaos. I unmuted. I sincerely apologize. I'm going to need to reschedule. Emma, we have a tight timeline, the HR director said. We're making this decision by the end of the week. Can you continue? Give me 5 minutes, please. I'm muted again. Jennifer, you need to leave right now. Take him outside. Wait by the pool. Wait in your car. I don't care if it's hot. This is my career. You're being dramatic. They said it's fine. It's not fine. He's destroyed my office. He's crying on camera. This looks completely unprofessional. He's 7. He's bored. You should have activities for kids if you're going to have us over. I didn't invite you over. You showed up during my interview. We needed somewhere to go, and I needed professional space. Mason was now at my desk. He grabbed my water bottle and spilled it across my notes. Mason, I grabbed the bottle. My notes were soaked. It was an accident. You're not supposed to be in here at all. Jennifer stood up. Fine, we're leaving. Sorry for being such an inconvenience. You are an inconvenience. This was the most important interview of my career, and you've completely sabotaged it. Sabotaged? We just needed to cool off for a few minutes. You're acting like we committed a crime. You showed up uninvited during an interview, let your son destroy my office, and refused to leave. That's not helping. That's sabotaging. He's bored, Emma. Kids get bored. You don't have kids, so you don't understand. I understand boundaries. I understand respecting people's time. I understand that when someone says they can't visit, you don't force yourself in any way. She grabbed Mason's hand. Come on, your aunt doesn't want us here. They left. I cleaned up the spilled water, the broken lamp, the scattered papers, my soaked notes. I returned to the interview. I'm so sorry about that. No problem, the VP said, though his expression suggested otherwise. Shall we continue? We did. I stumbled through answers without my notes, tried to regain professionalism, and felt the opportunity slipping away with every response. The interview ended early. We'll be in touch, they said. Code 4. We've seen enough. I sat in my destroyed office, broken lamp, wet papers, books scattered, filing cabinet open. Certain I'd blown the opportunity. Wednesday morning, I got the email. Dear Emma, we're pleased to offer you the Director of Operations position. I read it 3 times. They'd chosen me anyway, despite the chaos, despite Mason, despite everything. Salary increase. Remote work approved. Start date in 2 weeks. I'd gotten the promotion. I sat there stunned. Then I opened my laptop and started apartment hunting. Because if Jennifer thought she could show up at my home unannounced during critical work moments and face no consequences, she was wrong. I needed a place where work was protected, where boundaries were enforced, where uninvited family couldn't just appear and destroy my professional space. By Wednesday evening, I'd toured 3 apartments. By Thursday, I'd applied to 2. By Friday, I was approved for a 1-bedroom in a building across town, secured entry, concierge, no unannounced visitors. I signed the lease Saturday, move-in date in 2 weeks, the same day I started the new position. A fresh start, both professionally and personally. I didn't tell my family I was moving. The move itself was quiet. Professional movers. 2 weeks later, I was in my new apartment. Furnished, organized, secure. I updated my address with my employer, my bank, and my insurance. I left my family with the old address. Tuesday evening, my phone rang. Jennifer. Hey, Mason wants to see you. Can we come over? I'm busy. How about tomorrow? Also busy. This weekend? Not available. Emma, what's going on? We haven't seen you in weeks. I've been busy with the new job. Right, the promotion. Congrats on that, by the way, despite the chaos during your interview. She laughed, like it was a fond memory, like she hadn't sabotaged a critical career moment. Thanks. So when can we visit? Mason misses you, and I want to see how you're celebrating the new position. I'm not having visitors right now. We're not visitors. We're family. Family that shows up uninvited during interviews and destroys my office. Oh, come on. That was weeks ago. You got the job anyway. No harm done. No harm? Jennifer, Mason broke my lamp, spilled water on my documents, scattered my files, and cried loudly during the interview. You refused to leave despite me begging you. You said he needed entertainment while I was trying to save my career. He was bored. What was I supposed to do? Leave, like I asked you to, multiple times. We needed somewhere cool to stay, and I needed professional space. Your needs aren't more important than mine. I'm your sister. You're supposed to help me. Help doesn't include destroying my office during the job interview. I didn't destroy anything. Mason accidentally knocked over a lamp and pulled out files and spilled water and cried while you shrugged and said he needed entertainment. You're really still mad about that? I'm establishing boundaries about that. What boundaries? The kind where you don't get to visit my home anymore. Silence. You're not letting us visit. Correct. Because of one bad afternoon? Because you showed up uninvited, ignored my clearly stated needs, let your child destroy my workspace, and treated my career like an inconvenience to your schedule. That's insane. We're family. Family respects boundaries. You don't. Where are you living now anyway? I tried to stop by your place and some other people are living there. I moved. You moved? When? 2 weeks ago. And you didn't tell me? No. Why not? Because I don't want you showing up uninvited at my new place like you did at the old one. You're seriously not going to tell me where you live? Correct. What if there's an emergency? You have my phone number. Emma, this is ridiculous. You can't just cut us out because of one afternoon. I'm not cutting you out. I'm protecting my space. There's a difference. What about Mason? He wants to see his aunt. Mason can see me in public places, with advance notice, not in my home. You're punishing a 7-year-old? I'm establishing boundaries with a 34-year-old who brought her 7-year-old to my home during a scheduled interview and refused to leave despite repeated requests. This is insane. This is consequences. You want to visit? You need to respect boundaries. Show up uninvited during work, you lose home access. I'll tell Mom. Tell her. Maybe she'll understand boundaries better than you do. She hung up. Mom called an hour later. Emma, Jennifer says you won't let her visit your new apartment. That's correct. Why not? Because she showed up uninvited during my promotion interview and let Mason destroy my office. She said there was a small accident with a lamp. She minimized it. He broke a lamp, spilled water on documents, scattered files, and cried during the video call. She refused to leave. Said he needed entertainment while I was interviewing. Well, kids do get bored. And adults doing important work deserve respect, which Jennifer didn't show. So you're punishing her by hiding where you live? I'm protecting my space by not sharing my address with someone who's proven they don't respect boundaries. That seems extreme. What's extreme is showing up during a scheduled interview and refusing to leave. She needed help. She needed to respect my time. She didn't. Now she doesn't get access to my home. You're being very cold about this. I'm being very clear about this. Boundaries matter. Respect matters. Professional space matters. Family should matter more. Family that respects me does matter. Family that treats my career as an inconvenience doesn't get home privileges. She's your sister. And I'm a person with a career who deserves basic respect, which I didn't get. Mom sighed. Fine, be stubborn, but don't come crying to us when you need something. I won't need to. I have a promotion, a great apartment, and clear boundaries. She hung up. My new apartment is beautiful. 10th floor. City views. Secure entry that requires a key fob and concierge approval. No one shows up unannounced. My home office is perfect. Professional background. No glass doors to the living room. Soundproof walls. I've had 3 video meetings since moving in, all flawless. No broken lamps, no spilled water. No crying children, no sisters shrugging about entertainment needs. Just professional space. Protected space. Last week, Jennifer texted, Mason's birthday party is next month. Will you come? Or are we too unworthy for your presence now? I replied, I'll come, at the venue, with other guests. See you there. Public spaces. With boundaries. With witnesses. With other people to entertain Mason. But my home? My professional space? My sanctuary? That's mine. Funny how boundaries work when you enforce them with locked doors and undisclosed addresses. Funny how respect matters when career opportunities are on the line. Funny how a promotion and a new apartment can solve problems that conversation couldn't. Jennifer wanted me to entertain Mason. Now she can entertain herself with the consequences. And I can work in peace. Sunday dinner at Mom's house. Family tradition. My sister Carolyn, her husband Jeff, their 8-year-old son Tyler, and me. I brought my laptop because I was on a deadline. Freelance graphic design work due Monday morning. A big client, good money, a project I've been working on all week. An important portfolio piece. Do you have to work on Sunday? Mom asked when I sat up at the dining room table after we ate. Just need to finish some edits. Won't take long. The client needs it first thing Monday. You all can watch the game. I'll be quiet. Tyler was playing on his tablet on the couch. Carolyn and Jeff were discussing their upcoming vacation to Hawaii, 2 weeks at a luxury resort. They've been talking about it all through dinner. Mom was cleaning up in the kitchen, making her usual commentary about everything. I opened my laptop, a custom-built MacBook Pro, $1,600. All my work files, client projects, professional software. 3 years of projects backed up. My entire professional life on this machine. Tyler appeared beside me. What are you doing? Working, buddy. Designing a logo for a company. Can I try? Not right now. This is for grown-up work. But I want to. Maybe later I'll show you something. Right now, I need to finish this. It's important. He wandered off. I went back to work, adjusting colors and refining the design. 15 minutes later, I needed the bathroom. I left my laptop open on the table, design software running. My mistake, though I thought 3 minutes away would be safe in my own mother's house. I was gone maybe 3 minutes. When I came back, Tyler was at my laptop, and he had a juice box. Red fruit punch. Tyler, no. Too late. He'd been pressing buttons randomly. He had multiple programs open, my carefully organized project folders scattered across the screen. Windows everywhere. Somehow, he'd opened my email, my banking website, random applications. Then, as I reached for the laptop, he squeezed the juice box. Red juice sprayed everywhere, across the keyboard, the screen, into the ports, pooling underneath, seeping into the ventilation. The screen flickered, made a weird buzzing sound. Tyler. I grabbed the laptop, turned it upside down, tried to drain the juice. Sticky red liquid poured out. Too late, the screen went black, completely dead. What happened? Carolyn came over. He got juice on my laptop. He was using it without asking and spilled it all over. Tyler started crying. It was an accident. You weren't supposed to touch it. I was gone for 3 minutes. Don't yell at him, Carolyn said. He's 8. He didn't mean to. I tried to turn the laptop on. Nothing. Completely dead. Mom came out of the kitchen. What's all the yelling? Tyler destroyed my laptop. Destroyed is a strong word, Mom said. Kids break things. It happens. He spilled an entire juice box on it. It's completely dead. I have work due tomorrow. He's only 8. Mom's voice rose. He didn't do it on purpose. He shouldn't have been touching it at all. I told him I was working. You left it out where he could reach it, Carolyn said. That's on you. I left it on the dining room table for 3 minutes. That's not an invitation for him to destroy it. Nobody destroyed anything, Mom said. It's just a little juice. Let it dry out. It'll be fine. It's a $1,600 laptop. Juice kills electronics. This isn't fine. Tyler was still crying. I'm sorry, Aunt Claire. Tyler, honey, it's okay, Carolyn said, hugging him. Aunt Claire shouldn't have left her expensive things where you could reach them. I stared at her. Are you seriously blaming me? You know kids are here. You should be more careful. I was in the bathroom for 3 minutes. And you left it open and running. Kids are curious. He's 8 years old. He knows not to touch other people's things. He's just a child, Mom said. Children make mistakes. You're overreacting. Overreacting? This is my work laptop. I have a project due tomorrow. I don't have a backup computer. This is how I make my living. So buy a new one, Carolyn said with a shrug. Buy? Are you going to pay for it? Since it's your son who broke it. It was an accident. We're not paying for accidents. It wasn't an accident. He was touching something he was told not to and being careless. He's 8, Mom repeated. 8-year-olds are careless. That's what kids do. They break things. If you can't handle being around children, maybe you don't bring your expensive electronics to family dinner. Carolyn nodded, looking almost smug, like she'd won something. Tyler had stopped crying. He was watching his tablet again, like nothing had happened. Nobody apologized. Nobody offered to help replace it or repair it. Nobody seemed to care that I just lost $1,600 in a work deadline. I packed up my dead laptop. I need to go. You're leaving because of this? Mom asked. Over a little juice? I'm leaving because I have to figure out how to finish a project without a computer, and nobody here seems to think that matters. Don't be so dramatic, Carolyn said. I left. At home, I tried to salvage the laptop, opened it up, cleaned what I could, let it dry. Tried to turn it on. Dead. Completely fried. I called the client, explained the situation, and got an extension until Wednesday. Went to the library Monday to use their computers. Spent 12 hours finishing the project on unfamiliar equipment. Tuesday, I went to the Apple store. $1,600 for a new laptop, plus $200 to try to recover data from the old one. $1,800 because an 8-year-old touched something he wasn't supposed to, and his family thought that was acceptable. Tuesday evening, I opened my new laptop, not to work, to access the family trust documents. Our grandmother had died 5 years ago, leaving a trust worth about $800,000. It was invested conservatively, generating about $30,000 a year in income. I was the trustee. Grandmother had named me because I'd worked in finance before freelancing, because I was responsible, because she trusted me. The trust provided monthly distributions to beneficiaries. Mom got $1,000 a month, supplement to her retirement income. Carolyn got $1,500 a month, help with household expenses. And Tyler, $500 a month, deposited into an education account Carolyn controlled. Grandmother had wanted to ensure her great-grandchildren had money for college. $500 a month for an 8-year-old who just destroyed my laptop while his mother watched smugly. I read through the trust documents. My grandmother had given me full discretion as trustee. I could suspend distributions for cause, modify amounts, even terminate beneficiaries if their actions violated the trust's purpose. The trust's purpose, according to grandmother's will, was to support family members who demonstrate respect, responsibility, and care for one another. I drafted an amendment. Effective immediately, monthly distributions to Tyler Morrison are suspended pending review of beneficiary conduct. The trustee has determined that recent actions demonstrate a lack of respect and responsibility inconsistent with the trust's stated purpose. This suspension will remain in effect for a minimum of 6 months, at which point the beneficiary may reapply for consideration. I also reduced Carolyn's distribution from $1,500 to $500. Due to the beneficiary's failure to take responsibility for her dependent's destructive behavior and her dismissal of the harm caused to other family members, the monthly distribution is reduced by $1,000 for a period of 6 months. I signed the amendment, filed it with the trust attorney, and sent notification emails to all beneficiaries. Then I went to bed. My phone started ringing at 7:30 Wednesday morning. Carolyn. I let it go to voicemail. She called 5 more times. Then Mom called. I answered. Claire, what did you do to the trust? I exercised my discretion as trustee. You cut off Tyler's allowance. I suspended his distribution, yes. He's 8 years old. He needs that money. He's 8 years old and destroyed my laptop. Apparently, kids break things and face no consequences. That's not the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Tyler did something destructive and careless. I'm responding to it. Isn't that what happens when kids make mistakes? Or do they just get money regardless of behavior? That money is for his education. And education includes learning consequences. He's learning them now. You can't punish a child for an accident. You said he's 8, old enough to be curious, old enough to touch expensive electronics, old enough to be around family dinners. That means he's old enough to learn that actions have consequences. This is vindictive. This is appropriate. Grandmother's trust is for family members who show respect and responsibility. Tyler showed neither. Carolyn showed neither by defending him and blaming me. So you cut her money too? By $1,000 a month, she can make it up by paying me back for the laptop her son destroyed. You're being cruel. I'm being a responsible trustee. Grandmother wanted the trust to support people who care about family. Carolyn sat there smugly while her son destroyed my work equipment and then told me it was my fault. That's not caring about family. She was protecting her child. She was enabling bad behavior. There's a difference. Change it back. No, Claire, that's $500 a month Tyler won't get for college. Then Tyler should learn not to destroy other people's property. He'll get $2,400 less over 6 months. I lost $1,800 on my laptop. He's still coming out ahead. He's 8. You keep saying that. 8 is old enough to know not to touch things that aren't his. 8 is old enough to be careful with juice boxes. 8 is old enough to apologize and mean it. If he's old enough to receive money from the trust, he's old enough to learn what happens when you disrespect people. Mom hung up. Carolyn called from Jeff's phone. I answered. You can't do this. I already did. Tyler is crying. He doesn't understand why his college money stopped. He probably doesn't understand why destroying a $1,600 laptop is a problem either. Maybe you should explain both things to him. We're not teaching our son that he has to be perfect or he loses money. Perfect. I'm not asking for perfect. I'm asking for basic respect for other people's belongings. That's a pretty low bar. It was an accident. It was carelessness that you refused to take responsibility for. You didn't apologize. You didn't offer to help replace it. You blamed me. You acted like my work and my property didn't matter. Now your distribution is reduced and you're learning that actions matter. You're punishing Tyler for our behavior. I'm teaching Tyler that behavior has consequences. And I'm responding to your behavior with appropriate consequences. You get $1,000 less per month. Use it to teach him responsibility. We need that money. I needed my laptop. You didn't care. That's different. How? She couldn't answer. The trust is for family who care about each other, I said. You made it clear Sunday that you don't care about me. That Tyler's carelessness matters less than my work. That I should just accept being disrespected. So I'm exercising my authority as trustee to respond to that. Grandmother wouldn't want this. Grandmother put me in charge because she knew I take the trust seriously. She wanted it to support people who demonstrated respect and responsibility. Tyler destroyed my laptop. You defended him. Mom sided with you. None of you showed respect or responsibility. So none of you get the full benefit of the trust. Mom's distribution. Mom's distribution is unchanged. She gets her $1,000 a month. But she's unnoticed that defending destructive behavior doesn't align with grandmother's wishes. You're going to regret this. I regret bringing my laptop to family dinner. I regret thinking you take responsibility. I regret years of watching you get $1,500 a month from grandmother while showing no gratitude. I regret a lot of things. This isn't one of them. She hung up. The trust attorney called Thursday. Claire, I'm getting calls from your family members. They're upset about the distribution changes. They're documented. Tyler destroyed my laptop. Carolyn refused responsibility. I'm exercising my discretion. They're threatening to challenge your authority as trustee. On what grounds? Acting vindictively, punishing beneficiaries for personal grievances. I'm responding to behavior inconsistent with the trust's purpose. Document it. Tyler destroyed property. Carolyn defended it. Both violate the respect and responsibility requirements. The laptop destruction is documented. I have the dead laptop. I have the Apple Store receipt for the replacement. I have witnesses who were present. I have text messages afterward where Carolyn continued to blame me. That should be sufficient. Good. If they want to challenge, let them. I'll show the judge exactly what 8-year-old responsibility looks like when there are no consequences. 3 weeks later, Carolyn sent a text. Tyler has been doing chores to earn money. He saved $42. He wants to give it to you for your laptop. I called her. Is this his idea or yours? His. He asked why his allowance stopped. I explained. He felt bad. He should feel bad. He's 8, Claire. He made a mistake. And now he's learning. That's good. Will you restore his distribution? In 6 months, if he demonstrates consistent respect and responsibility. That's a long time. It took me a week to replace my laptop and recover my work. 6 months seems reasonable for him to learn the lesson. What about my distribution? Same timeline. Show me respect matters to you. This is still cruel. This is still consequences. Something Tyler should have learned Sunday. 6 months later, I restored Tyler's distribution. He'd earned it, apologized sincerely, been careful around other people's things, learned that actions matter. Carolyn's distribution stayed reduced. She never really apologized, never took responsibility, never acknowledged that defending Tyler's carelessness was wrong. The trust continues, the money flows, but now everyone knows that 8 is old enough to receive money, old enough to learn respect, old enough to face consequences. Grandmother would have approved. I was home by 9:30 most nights, not because I had nowhere else to be, but because I genuinely enjoyed my evening routine, dinner at 7, a book until 9, then bed by 10. Weekends followed similar patterns. I worked as a financial analyst, left the office at 5:15 daily, and had maintained this schedule for 6 years. My sister Diane found this existence baffling. She was spontaneous, always posting pictures from concerts or weekend trips. Her 3 kids, ranging from 17 to 22, had inherited her energy. They were constantly busy, their social calendars packed with activities I couldn't begin to track. The contrast became a running joke at family gatherings. Is Beth coming? My niece Kayla would ask, already knowing the answer. Or does she have another exciting night of Netflix planned? Leave your aunt alone, Diane would say, though she'd be smiling. Not everyone needs constant simulation. I never took offense. My life worked for me. I had savings, no debt, a well-maintained apartment, and genuine contentment. Their chaos seemed exhausting. The Friday before Thanksgiving, Diane hosted dinner. All three kids were there. Kayla, 22, and working in marketing, Tyler, 19 and home from college, and Mason, 17, a high school senior. I arrived at 6:30 with a store-bought pie. Beth, Diane hugged me, already holding a glass of wine. Perfect timing. Kids are in the living room. The living room was loud. Kayla was showing Tyler something on her phone. Mason was texting rapidly. Hey, Aunt Beth, Kayla said without looking up. Let me guess, you came straight from home? I did. What were you doing before this? Let me guess, organizing your spice cabinet alphabetically? Tyler snorted. She probably has a spreadsheet for her spreadsheets. Actually, I was reading, I said mildly. Just finished a book on economic theory. Riveting, Mason muttered, his eyes still on his phone, truly living on the edge. Dinner was pleasant enough, though conversation constantly circled back to their adventures. Kayla's upcoming Miami trip, Tyler's fraternity formal, Mason's plans for a concert. What about you, Beth? Diane asked. Any exciting plans? I'm refinancing my mortgage. Rates dropped, so I'm saving about $400 a month. Silence, then Tyler started laughing. That's the most Aunt Beth thing I've ever heard. Aunt has no life, she's always home. Kayla joined in. God, I'd die if my weekends involved mortgage paperwork. It's actually quite satisfying, I said. That $400 monthly adds up to nearly $5,000 annually. Retirement planning, Mason said dramatically. You're 41. Do you ever just live in the moment? I live plenty. I just prefer predictability. You prefer boring, Tyler corrected, grinning. Diane finally intervened. Okay, enough. Beth's responsible, and there's value in that. But the damage was done. The rest of dinner featured subtle digs about my predictable existence. I smiled through it and left by 8:30. At home, I changed into comfortable clothes, made tea, and settled in with a book. By 10:15, I was in bed. My phone sat on the nightstand, charging, ringer on, just in case. The call came at 3:07 in the morning. I woke instantly, the way people do when their phone rings at an hour reserved for emergencies. Kayla's name lit up my screen. Hello. My voice was surprisingly clear for someone who'd been deeply asleep seconds earlier. Aunt Beth. Kayla's voice was small, frightened, nothing like the confident young woman who'd been mocking my life 8 hours earlier. I'm so sorry to call, but I need help. I was already sitting up, turning on the lamp. What's wrong? I'm stranded. My car died, and I'm on Route 47, and I don't know what to do. I tried calling Mom, but she's not answering and I'm kind of freaking out. Route 47, rural highway, minimal lighting. Not much traffic this time of night. Are you safe? Is the car completely off the road? Yeah, I pulled onto the shoulder, but it's really dark, and there's no one around, and my phone's at 30%. Okay. I was already out of bed, pulling on jeans. First, lock your doors. Keep the hazards on. I'm coming to get you, but I'm about 40 minutes away. Can you text me your exact location? You're coming? She sounded stunned, then relieved. Oh my God, thank you. Stay in the car, doors locked, until you see my blue Honda. I'll flash my lights. Okay, thank you so much. I grabbed essentials because having basics mattered. My car was in its assigned spot, exactly where it always was. I plugged in my phone, entered Kayla's location, and started driving. Route 47 at 3:30 in the morning was exactly as desolate as I'd imagined. Dark fields on either side. Occasional farmhouses with no lights on. I found Kayla's silver sedan on the shoulder, hazards blinking weakly. I pulled up behind her, flashed my lights twice, and watched as she scrambled out of her car. She was in a short dress and heels, no jacket, clearly dressed for wherever she'd been before the breakdown. She looked cold, scared, and very young. Get in, I said, unlocking the passenger door. She climbed in gratefully, and I immediately turned up the heat. I'm so sorry, she started, but I held up a hand. First things first, are you hurt? Did anything happen before the car died? No, it just stopped. All the lights on the dashboard lit up, and then it was dead. Okay, have you been drinking? She hesitated, then nodded. I was at a party, but I wasn't drunk, I swear. I had 2 drinks over, like 4 hours. I felt completely fine to drive. Where was the party? Trenton. I was heading home. Trenton was an hour from her house. She'd made it about halfway before the breakdown. Why didn't your friends drive you home? Another pause. I kind of left early. There was drama, and I just wanted to go. So she left alone, at 3 in the morning, from a party an hour away, and now her car was dead on a rural highway. I thought about all the things that could have gone wrong beyond a mechanical failure. Your mom's not answering. She's in Atlantic City with her boyfriend. They went for the weekend. I tried calling like 6 times. Atlantic City. Casinos, shows. Probably a hotel room where Diane had silenced her phone to enjoy her spontaneous weekend getaway. Tyler or Mason couldn't help. Tyler's at school. Mason's at a friend's house, and he doesn't have his license yet anyway. So I'd been her only option. The boring aunt who was always home, predictably available, reliably present. All right, we'll deal with the car in the morning. I'm taking you to my place tonight. Tomorrow we'll call a tow truck and figure out what's wrong with your vehicle. My place? She looked surprised. It's almost 4 in the morning. I'm not driving you all the way to your house just to turn around and drive 40 minutes back to mine. You can sleep on my couch. Oh, okay, thank you. We drove in silence for a while. Kayla was shivering despite the heat, the adrenaline crash hitting her. I handed her a water bottle and a granola bar. Eat something, you'll feel better. She obeyed quietly, nibbling the bar like a child. Aunt Beth? Her voice was small again. I'm really sorry about what we said at dinner, about your life being boring and everything. We'll talk about it later. Right now, just rest. Back at my apartment, I gave her sweatpants and a t-shirt, showed her where the bathroom was, and set her up on the couch with blankets and pillows. She was asleep within minutes, exhausted from fear and relief. I went back to my room but didn't sleep. Instead, I sat up thinking about that moment when my phone rang, when Kayla needed help and I was the one she could count on. Not because I was exciting or spontaneous or fun, but because I was exactly what they'd mocked me for being: predictable, available, boring. At 7 in the morning, my phone buzzed with multiple texts from Diane. She finally checked her phone. Kayla just texted me. She said her car broke down and you drove out to get her at 3 a.m.? Are you serious? Thank you so much. Why didn't she call me first? I would have handled it. Is she okay? I'm heading back now, I replied simply. She's fine. Sleeping on my couch. She tried calling you 6 times. Your phone was off. 3 dots appeared and disappeared several times before Diane's next message. I feel terrible. I didn't think to check my phone. Thank God she had you. I didn't respond to that. Kayla woke around 9, looking embarrassed and grateful in equal measure. I made breakfast. Scrambled eggs and toast. Nothing fancy. We ate quietly at my small kitchen table. I called a tow truck. I said, they'll take your car to the mechanic near your house. I'll drive you home after breakfast. You don't have to do that. I know. She pushed her eggs around her plate. Last night was scary. I kept thinking about all the things that could have happened if you hadn't come, if you hadn't answered. But I did answer. Because you were home, because you always are. She looked up at me. I made fun of you for that. You did. I'm sorry, really sorry. Not just because you rescued me, but because I was mean about something that's actually really great. You have your life together. You're responsible and reliable. And I acted like that was something to laugh at. Why did you? I asked genuinely. Why does my lifestyle bother you? She thought about it. I think because it makes me feel bad about mine. Mom's always talking about living in the moment and being spontaneous, and that's how we all try to be. But then I see you, and you're so calm and organized, and you have savings and a nice apartment, and you never seem stressed. And maybe I'm jealous, because I'm always stressed, always worried about money or plans or whether I'm doing enough exciting things. Exciting doesn't mean fulfilling, I said quietly. I chose this life deliberately. After years of chaos, I decided I wanted peace. Some people need adventure. I need stability. I'm starting to see the value in that. I drove her home around 10:30. Diane's car was in the driveway, and she came rushing out before we even parked. Kayla, are you okay? She hugged her daughter tightly, then turned to me. Beth, I don't know what to say. Thank you doesn't feel like enough. It's fine. It's not fine. You drove out in the middle of the night because I was unreachable. She looked genuinely distraught. I'm her mother. I should have been available. You were having a weekend away. That's allowed. But my phone should have been on. What if something worse had happened? I didn't answer that because we were both thinking it. The thing is, Diane continued, you were there, like you always are, and have made jokes about your boring life, but the truth is, you're the most reliable person in this family. When there's an actual emergency, you're the one everyone can count on. Mason and Tyler had appeared on the porch, watching this exchange. Tyler walked over, hands in his pockets. Kayla told us what happened. That's really cool of you, Aunt Beth, coming to get her like that. Anyone would have done it. But you did do it, Mason added. And you were able to because of all the stuff we make fun of you for, being home, having your phone on, being the responsible one. I prefer to think of it as having my priorities straight, I said lightly. Over the next few weeks, something shifted in how my sister's family treated me. The jokes about my boring life didn't stop entirely, but they lost their edge. Kayla texted me occasionally, asking for advice about budgeting and saving. Tyler called once to ask how I'd chosen my retirement accounts. Even Mason seemed more thoughtful when family conversations turned to lifestyle choices. Diane invited me to lunch, just the two of us, at a quiet restaurant. I've been thinking about that night, she said over salads. About how I've set up my life to be spontaneous and fun, but that meant I wasn't available when Kayla actually needed me. You can't be available every second. No, but I can stop treating responsibility like it's boring. I've been so focused on not being the uptight parent that I forgot there's value in being the reliable one. She paused. You've had that figured out for years and I dismissed it. Different life stages, different priorities. Maybe, but I'm starting to think your way isn't as boring as I made it out to be. It's actually kind of impressive. The real change came at the whole family gathered at my father's house, and when conversation turned to New Year's plans, Kayla mentioned she was staying home. Really? Diane looked surprised. I thought you and your friends were doing that party in Philadelphia. I decided to skip it. Going to start the year focused on my goals instead of being hungover at some stranger's house. Kayla glanced at me. Figured I'd take a page from Aunt Beth's book. The boring book? Tyler asked, but he was smiling. The smart book, Kayla corrected. The one where you make choices based on what you actually want, not what looks good on Instagram. I didn't say anything, just sipped my coffee and enjoyed the moment. That night, as I drove home to my quiet apartment with my predictable routine waiting for me, I thought about that 3 a.m. phone call, about being the person someone calls when they're scared and stranded and need help, about how reliability isn't exciting, but it matters. Maybe more than excitement does. My phone rang as I pulled into my parking spot. Kayla's name lit up the screen. Hey, I answered. Hey, Aunt Beth, I just wanted to say thanks again for everything. But especially for showing me that boring isn't actually boring, it's just sustainable. I'm glad you see it that way now. Can I ask you something? How did you figure out what kind of life you wanted? I thought about it, sitting in my car in my assigned spot under the familiar streetlight. I stopped trying to live anyone else's version of interesting and started building what made me feel peaceful. Turns out peace looks pretty boring from the outside, but it feels good on the inside. It feels exactly right. After we hung up, I went upstairs to my apartment, where everything was exactly where I'd left it. Predictable, organized, quiet. I made tea, picked up my book, and settled into my evening routine. Boring maybe, but when the phone rang at 3 in the morning, I'd been ready. And that made all the difference.